what it takes to integrate mystical experiences, and how critical and important it is to integrate these expansive experiences that some of us have. Whether you are, hi Aaron, um, whether you are, going to the mountains in a vortex and you're having a meeting with the angels, or whether you're going to the jungle to sit in an ayahuasca ceremony, or you're going on a meditation retreat and hearing the voice of God, hi Bob, or you're going off to Burning Man, which is a powerful experience, or you're going on a vision quest. We have these experiences where um, we're given pieces. We're given pieces of our soul. Hi, if you're just coming on. Um, we're given pieces from our soul about this next stage of our evolution, right? So these mystical experiences, they don't come for nothing. Let's say you go on a vision quest and you're a mostly masculine minded woman, and you go on a vision quest, and you've been really connecting with Father God, and for the first time you connect with mother, with the divine mother. So how do you go back to your life and not continue doing business as usual, which has proven to bring you a certain level of success, right? We're all doing what we're doing because to a certain degree it's working, and yet we're all searching or seeking either these mystical experiences, or they spontaneously come to us because there is another stage of evolution. So here's the thing. The key, and this the same thing goes with the meditation practice, because sometimes we can just have a daily meditation practice that where we have moments of touching that sacred union with the divine, where we have these moments of just like having the mystic self experience herself or himself. So the key is always, hi Alex, so nice to see you. The key is always, how can I bring this? How can I bring this mystical experience, this expansive experience, this next stage of my evolution that I just got to touch and be in the frequency of? How can I that bring that to this moment, and this moment, and this moment? And so oftentimes what I see is, people chasing mystical experiences. I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways it's almost like an epidemic in the spiritual circles, right? People chasing medicine ceremony after medicine ceremony, just like, have to go to a ceremony once a month, I got to do this, I got to do this. And it's always about the next mystical experience, or whether you're connecting with angels and you're always living in these higher realms. um, the key really is, you want to bridge, right? If you're living in the higher realms, how can I bring those higher realms to the earth plane? Hi Melanie, hi love. How can I bring that to the earth plane? So the key is always, how can I bring it to this moment, right? It's like, if you're going to Burning Man and you're having this incredibly expansive experience of yourself, of releasing all the judgments about yourself, about being in relationship with other people in a way that doesn't focus on what do you do for a living and how much money do you make, and all of these things. The key isn't just to keep going to Burning Man. Now, I'm not saying don't go back to Burning Man. I love Burning Man. I'm not going this year. I'm totally, like, my heart is there. But the key is to know, how do I bring what just went down here into my life? How do I bring it into my relationships, right? So I want to just give you a couple of examples. So let's see, where do I begin? Let's say someone does a medicine ceremony, and they have an experience in their journey, in their ceremony, where they're having an experience of themselves. Now, that could be an experience of, like, the Kundalini really being activated, or it could be an experience of experiencing one's healing powers. I actually have a beautiful client right now, badass leading woman, rocking the world, really accomplished in business, provider, and also, a devotional heart. She is in the process of waking up to her healing gifts, really, really waking up to her healing gifts that have been shut down for many years. So she could pursue, she could pursue the what was expected of her, and so she could make money, and we all do what we think is expected of us. So she's having an experience of waking up to the healing powers in her hands, that she can actually heal. And this is a real thing, and it's actually been there her whole life. And so she's coming back to it now. So we were having a conversation and she had this mystical experience of really feeling that and the activation of it. And so we're having this conversation in our session and I'm saying, so how do you get to bring that into your life, right? How do you bring this, like, wow, I really gave myself permission to heal my friend and she really like felt it. How do you bring that to your everyday life? And so, she's been doing work for a long time on herself. She's not exactly a newbie. And she says, um, well, I could let myself be there more. I could let myself trust my hands and do that. Well, okay, that's great, but that's not a grounded enough way to actually bring that mystical experience into the physical earth plane. So what I really want to emphasize is bringing the mystical experiences into the physical earth plane. There's a specific way to integrate, right? So our conversation then became about, well, okay, that's one way, but then I was pushing her and I was nudging her and I was saying, how about if you actually reached out to, let's say, 10 people and told them that you're coming out of the closet as a healer and you're learning to embrace your healing gifts, and you ask them to come to you and you actually give them sessions, right? Because in the mystical experience, she had an opportunity to feel her healing gifts and to work on her friend, and her friend was like, yeah, I feel this. This is making a difference for me. So it wasn't just, I'm going to let myself be there more, because that's not really going to ground it, right? It's really, hi guys, if you're just joining, it's really, how can I ground it in the physical world reality? And the moment I said that to her, of course, she was like, oh my God, like, you're really setting me out there. Like, you want me to actually have people come to my house because this just happened, right? But here's the thing, like, you can wait. She could wait 6 months to do that. But first of all, that's not going to happen because we're in a relationship and my commitment is to her full evolution in what she's asking for. And when a mystical experiences come to us, it's not for nothing. It's really the edge of the evolution. It's really saying, here's what's possible. And then what happens is, if you don't go ahead and immediately begin taking steps to integrate, you're going to just go back into being in the gap, and it becomes being really uncomfortable, because now you know what's possible. Now you know who you are. You have greater awareness of your depth and your connection and whatever it is that is this next stage of your evolution. But now you're back into living into this space that's the gap between what you just touched and where you have been predominantly letting yourself be comfortable living. So the key is really, how can I bring it? So just to give another experience, let's say, just because I tend to work with a lot of women who've been running a lot of yang energy, a lot of masculine energy. Let's say, a woman goes on a vision quest in the desert, and she's really like seeking for the next stage of her evolution and her service in the world, and her intimacy and her, how can I bring in a partner that's truly aligned at the soul, evolutionary soul level. And so she goes and she allows herself to connect. She allows herself to connect with nature and Divine Mother in a way that she never has before, right? And I'm saying someone who's definitely sat with ayahuasca many times and who has information and knowledge about Divine Mother, but hasn't had the experience of, right? So she goes and she has this experience of the mother while she's primarily been working with Father God and really running a lot of yang energy, a lot of masculine energy. So she comes back. So how does she bring that? How does she bring that to her every day? Like, the key is the integration, because guess what? You can keep going on meditation retreats. I used to do this. You can keep sitting in ceremonies. You can keep going on vision quests. You can keep going to festivals. If you are not actively having someone just reflect with you, it doesn't have to be a mentor, it could be a friend. How can I ground this into the physical world reality so it can bridge? Then that's all that you're doing. You're just chasing the high, and that actually becomes compulsive spirituality, right? I know lots of people that run from compulsively, like a high experience to a high experience to a high experience to a high experience, and then there's no integration. So for her, it was like, I was just talking to her and I was saying, hey, like, how about you just put your hands on your womb space and begin breathing in through your nose and like have a soft belly, right? The woman who went to the desert and connected with the mother, because she's so driven. She is highly successful, highly influential, and also like has a six-pack ab and the mentality of a six-pack ab, which a lot of us women have, right? Hold it in tight. So it was like can you blow out your belly? Can you have the belly relax, the Buddha belly, right? And sometimes it takes a while. Like when I start teaching that to someone, it's like, what, like relax my belly? And that takes like a week of just breathing into the belly until the muscles that have been holding in this all these years let go. But for her, it was like this mother, this divine mother consciousness. It was like, how do I bring that to my day-to-day life? And it was a simple breathing practice and then communing with the mother, right? So spending some time writing while breathing into her belly, spending some time in nature while breathing into her belly and humming and connecting with the feminine body in a different way. So these are just a couple of examples, but this is, I'll just share, this is also my journey, because I have had, I mean, at this point, countless mystical experiences in my life. And they started, really started in my first dark night of the soul when I was going through my divorce from my first marriage. I was 22, and I had no idea. There was no one really teaching me how to integrate the mystical experiences, because unfortunately, a lot of what is still taught by a lot of light workers and a lot of teachers is to keep chasing the high. And it's fine. I know people who live in that high place, who go to India, spend time with their gurus, they're completely in meditation, they're always in the space of divine love. And guess what? There are structures about their lives that don't work. They don't have any money. Their health might not be that great. They don't feel like they have the freedom because they don't have the money or the house or the car or whatever. I'm not saying like a fancy house or a car, but just a place to live that's theirs, and a car that would get them from point A to point B so they can focus on being of service. Because if you are having these really high experiences, chances are you are someone who cares about bridging heaven and earth and bringing this light frequency to the denser frequency, right? That's how we do it. But it doesn't happen if we're just chasing the higher frequency. And what I want to say is, bringing the light frequency, the higher frequency to the denser frequency, it can be challenging. It's like, it's going to hit up against resistance. Like, you don't penetrate the density of the lower frequencies with light without some resistance. And that resistance is where we have been living. So where you have been living, right? So if you go to Burning Man and you have these amazing experiences of yourself, like completely free and completely in union with everyone, and self-expressed, and just in the vibration of play as prayer and creativity and all of these things, and then you come back and all of a sudden you don't have any of the permission that you had when you were at Burning Man to be yourself, then forget it. Now, like, there's literally like, what, 10 days a year where you get to be yourself because you're going to go back next year or another festival, rather than while you're there, while you're in that experience, having the awareness that I'm going to take this to my life. And then when you come back, it's like immediately looking for specific, tangible ways of how can I bring what I just experienced, which is informed by where I'm going in my evolution, to my day-to-day life. How can I do that, right? What actions can I take? Not just let myself be more free, but what would be a sign of you being more free? What would be a sign of you giving yourself more permission? Maybe you have a conversation with someone who makes a lot less money than you or is from a completely different lifestyle than you, right? Maybe you start seeking those out because that's part of like the experience that you were having. So I feel like I could just keep saying this over and over again, but the piece that I really want to drive home is that this then it does meet resistance, right? It is challenging. It's challenging. Like when I said to my client who is really activating her healing gifts, okay, now reach out to 10 people and have them come for you to heal them. I mean, everything comes up. Oh, what if it's no good? What if it's just in my head? What if I'm making it up? Like, what if that person who felt it once that was a fluke, right? And this is the resistance. Like, this is what we always have to work with when we're penetrating the denser energies with the higher frequencies. So I just wanted to give this offering for you. It's been on my heart for a while, and I haven't been able to jump on here and share, but I am so grateful to share it. I know so many of us are saying yes to more expansion, embodying more light, being of greater service. And I also know that that journey is not necessarily or ever free of bumps and curves and things that we hit up against. So so if you just joined, I hope you come back and watch this. This is such a big part of my journey, and I'm always seeking to integrate and bring the higher frequencies to the earth plane. I feel like that's how we bridge heaven and earth. that's really what's required of those of us who consider ourselves light workers. And just continuing to say yes, because really that's what allows us to be the vibration that we want to see, that allows us to be our work, that allows us to be the frequency of that mystical experience in this physical world for other people to engage with, to impact, to contribute to. So Anahita June, embodied feminine leadership to women worldwide. So much love and blessings. If this made a difference for you, let me know. Okay, bye loves.